Welcome back to DHN. I'm Wade Teamer. Let me share with you an investment memo that I read this morning, courtesy of Bitwise. It's from Matt Hogan, their chief investment officer, and it's titled Stablecoins Bigger Than ETFs? Very interesting question. That's what made me continue reading. What he's essentially getting at is the development around stablecoin legislation here in the United States specifically, and how the recent developments are pushing us closer to the mainstreaming of stablecoins as he describes it. Now, the reason I'm so excited about this is because this is something I have been following for a number of years. Longtime viewers of the channel, you're probably going to remember this. Regulation, supervision, and oversight of global stablecoin arrangements. This is coming down from the Financial Stability Board. Ladies and gentlemen, the World Bank, Bank for International Settlements, IMF, and every other organization under them, they followed by these guidelines. So as I'm reading this, it's all coming together. And I'm like, whoa, if this goes through, this market is not going to look the same. With that, that's going to give an advantage to certain assets over others. That is why I started the year telling you in 2023, it would be the year of stable coins because I saw so much development. Now that we're in 2024, it's election year. These bills are getting ready to hit the tables that they need to hit. And the best part about it is that we have even more support, more pro crypto support than we did back in 2020, 2023. So let me dive into these details here to give you an idea of what's going on. And I'm also going to get into the Loomis-Gillibrand Payment Stablecoin Act because there is a detail within the act that's going to take us on our journey here. All right. So Matt Hogan starts with the mainstreaming of stablecoins. He's starting by recapping the recent updates when it comes to stablecoin legislation here in the United States. On Wednesday, Maxine Waters, Democrat on the House Financial Services Committee, told Bloomberg that she and committee chairman Patrick McHenry would soon have a deal on comprehensive stablecoin legislation. Patrick McHenry has been a longtime advocate for the crypto space, especially when it comes to stablecoins. I believe it was he who picked up Tom Emmer's legislation and kind of molded it and evolved it over time after he stepped away. Now, another big bill that we need to pay attention to, as he has highlighted here, the Loomis-Gillibrand Payment Stablecoin Act. He says it has been winding its way through the crypto-friendly U.S. Senate. Few, however, held out hope for the bill in the Democrat-led House Party, particularly in an election year until now. That's another very important aspect to be aware of. We are in an election season, and I can tell you, when I was being in the space in 2020, the last halving was also our last election year. I can put it to you like this. By November, Bitcoin set a new all-time high. And remember, from our portfolio studies, we are seeing that October seems to be the very special year to get in, or the very special month to get in, right? In 2020, it played out like this. Bitcoin set a new all-time high. Around the same time, we established a new president. By the time that president had his inauguration, we also got the executive order for the responsible development of digital assets, ladies and gentlemen. So all of these pieces are starting to come together. All right. And then he goes into further details that highlight the pro-crypto stance from the U.S. government. And as someone who has been in crypto for so many years, I never thought I'd be able to say that sentence. But here we are, guys. He also indicated that Waters said the deal was already receiving widespread support. So support from both sides, noting that she had discussed it with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senate Banking Chairman Sherrod Brown and folks from the Federal Reserve, U.S. Treasury, and the White House. So she's really getting on the side of the people who were anti-crypto for so long. Specifically, Mr. Sherrod Brown, who on April 16th actually voiced his new opinions in support of the stablecoin legislation. And then we had a paper that was published in February by the Federal Reserve. Chris Waller, he gave a speech noting that stablecoins could strengthen the dominance and role of the dollar. And then we even got word from Jerome Powell and Secretary Janet Yellen talking about stablecoin regulations. Now, Clearly, Ms. Yellen's position on stablecoin regulations is to exert more power. Either way, having a stablecoin bill put forth will have a ripple effect throughout crypto. All right. Specifically, if this one goes through. So we're talking about Loomis and Gillibrand here. And the detail I really want to highlight to you is the fact that this bill does it, if it goes through, it will only permit US backed stablecoins. It particularly states that we want to remove algorithmic stablecoins and non-US issued stablecoins. If you've studied enough stablecoins, you're already starting to put together the fact that not a lot of evidence of the biggest stablecoin in the space, Tether, being issued here in the United States. But we know which one is. And because of that, ladies and gentlemen, just to reinforce, let me show you how these numbers look. Because of that, this is going to shift the balance of power. It's really going to shift the balance of power. Here's a diagram of the most USD pegged stablecoins and where they're issued. You can see 30.9 billion issued in the US, regulated under state money transmitter frameworks, mainly USDC. And then we have another 0.4 billion issued in New York State, regulated under the NYDFS guidance. That's your Gemini, USDP, that's Paxos, and PayPal USD. Let's not forget about them. But you can see on the other side of this chart here, issued outside of the US, these are some pretty big names. That FDUSD, I think that's the Freedom Dollar. But of course, you can see USD Tether, TUSD, and USDM. Not sure what that is. This doesn't even account for any of the stable coins that are native to a certain chain, like the stable coins that Cardano has, or the ones that Celo has, or even VUSD. These stable coins aren't getting as much of the volume, but that's still a good thing. Where we want to focus our attention is where USDC is going to be the most active, guys. And that's what brings me to my whole point about watching out for certain assets that could really be in the best position to benefit in the event that this legislation goes through. Not only are we getting attention from the regulators, but the traditional financial companies are coming in as well. Visa just launched this on-chain analytics dashboard that is tracking the average monthly stablecoin supply, as well as transactions and other metrics for stablecoins. When you do the digging, and you know we have here, that's why you should subscribe. But Visa has been studying stablecoins with specific partners for a number of years. One of them is Solana, ladies and gentlemen. And let's not forget about what Stripe brought to the market again after a 6-year hiatus. They're planning on introducing crypto payments into pretty much anywhere Stripe is being used. And you can see here, USDC is one of the main currencies. Stripe has a very big influence here in the United States. And then let's not forget about the almighty PayPal, which when you look at mainstream media, you would think that it doesn't even exist. In the original interview that Cynthia Loomis and Kirsten Gillibrand held on CNBC, they showed 3 stablecoins, USDC, USD Tether, and then they showed Terra Luna stablecoin. Like, nobody has used that stablecoin in over a year, almost 2 years. Why would you even show that? That just struck me wrong. Point is, though, the bigger picture around stablecoins is being formed right now, guys. And I really think there are certain assets that have already been positioning themselves to benefit in the event that this legislation goes through. One of our biggest assets on the channel here, Stellar Lumens. You can look at and see their full stablecoin offering. Not only are they serving US markets through MoneyGram, Circle, and various other channels, but Stellar has a global stablecoin network. And again, that all ties back to the global stablecoin arrangements from 2020. I got the articles, folks. I could really pull up each individual country's stablecoin advancements to put on top of this, but I'll just leave a link to the video where I did put them all in, so that way, you know what I'm saying, you can get all the information. But this is Stellar's stablecoin landscape. Let's hop over to Hbar. Do you remember this? The stablecoin studio. This is going to allow companies, enterprises, banks to build out their own stablecoins. And wouldn't you know it, one of the companies building a stablecoin on Hbar right now, let's go over to their website. You know how I always say, Hbar, it's America's DLT. Man, they sure like to work with a lot of American companies. Cathay Bank seems to be very proud of their American roots. It's gonna unfold. It's gonna unfold, ladies and gentlemen. But they aren't the only one. We have Jewel Bank, Rivia, SCB Tech, Shinhan, and Standard Bank, who have been the longest proponents of stablecoin technology on Hbar. So wherever these stablecoin ecosystems have been being built out over the last few years, upon the passing of this stablecoin legislation, these are going to be the ones with the most value. All right. And then you remember for Solana welcomes Circle's cross-chain transfer protocol. This is Circle's interoperability network. And it seems as though every time they look to implement a new protocol or upgrade, they're going to Solana over Ethereum. Now, when we really get deep, especially into Solana, we can't forget about Solana Pay, right? Solana Pay is already incorporated into Shopify, but you want to know who else is on board with their Solana Pay? There's Circle. And then we have a couple other companies too is here, Worldline, TipLink. I believe they focus on like Web3, social payments, things like that. The point I'm trying to highlight here, though, is the massive ripple effect that is going to take place. And let's not forget about the almighty XRP. Even though they're now doing ODL in the form of Tether, there are other stablecoins on the XRP ledger that will also benefit, that will also bring value to the ledger. Now, I know I don't talk a lot about XRP, but in my previous content that you'll see, I did highlight their vast stablecoin network, including Algorand as well. A lot of the projects that people seem to think are just dead. Now we're over at DeFi Llama though, because I want to show you a very interesting chart here. So we have the top chains. Well, let's talk about stablecoin market cap, 159 billion. All right. I just also find it funny that it was around July of 2023 when the curve starts to go north, same time that those regulations from the FSB and G20 were finalized on global stablecoin arrangements. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. The point is, if you take a look here, you'll find out that the dominant stablecoin, depending on the chain you go to, there's a very, very vivid divide. Top 4, Ethereum, Tron, Binance, and Arbitrum, that's all dominated by Tether. They just went after Justin Sun for securities fraud here in the United States. CZ just got sentenced to 4 months. And they're putting the pressure on Ethereum. And when they put the pressure on Ethereum, everything connected to Ethereum is going to be in trouble too. But if you go down the list, 5 and 6, you have Solana and Base, fully dominated by USDC. Now, we could continue to look at this chart and pull even more, assumptions and ideas. But I really think if we revisit this in a few months, especially upon the passing of the bill, it's going to be a very, very valuable indicator. Because what I saw from it, as I read the investment memo, then immediately started to do the digging, I see that the chains that are dominated by USDC are the ones that we hear about the most in the United States. There are also the ones that are always providing utility and on-ramps. You see Stellar right here, USDC 98% domination. On Algorand, USDC 76%. Ronin, which is interesting, that's the gaming chain behind Axie Infinity, all USDC. And then when you go and you look at other chains, Tezos, Clayton, which we do talk about here, that's all Tether. So if the idea of the bill is to really differentiate Tether from USDC, which is something that one of you did ask about, then those that are on the side of USDC, there's going to be a certain impact, because you can pretty much guarantee that once we pass the bill, the United States is going to do everything that it can to make its prominent flagship branded stablecoin, which is USDC, the most dominant product on the market, which is going to ignite insane amounts of competition. It's probably going to bring about even more bills that will look to push Tether out of the market. And looking at Ethereum's dominance, this is the lowest I've ever seen it, ladies and gentlemen. Once that thing gets under 49%, then you know we're in a different age. And speaking of different ages, Tokenization has been a talk of the town recently. And fortunately for us, if we go over to realworldassets.xyz, we have a full dashboard of stablecoin metrics. Now, these are a bit different from the ones over at Visa. We've been tracking these for a long time, so I'm going to rock over here. I'm going to stick with this one because it also gives us data for locations, jurisdictions, right? Look at the bulk of market cap when it comes to stablecoins. Who is at the top of the list? The United States of America, pushing 145 million, ladies and gentlemen. The full market cap was only 156. This is why stablecoin regulation in the United States needs to happen. We're moving the majority of them, right? And we're always hearing about how stablecoins are being used for illicit finance. And there was even a story came out 2022 about Venezuela. Tether was used to circumvent sanctions to Venezuela. They sent like $200 million. It became a whole thing. But I really believe that that is changing, guys. And I think with data like this and the data that we have from DeFi Llama, we're getting where the value is going, to which chains. DeFi, we have our select list. And when it comes to real world assets, there is a select list. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. What I really wanted to do was just bring your attention to the temperature being changed in the room here. What we need is this bill to get passed. And once it does, developments like this on the Stellar Network and Hbar's stablecoin studio, we're going to see so many more companies filling up this list right here. And then let's not forget about, and this is a company in the Hbar ecosystem, Bank Social. They've been talking with all types of credit unions here in the United States. The connections are out there, ladies and gentlemen. And I just love how this story was put together. And I want to share with you how he ends it, because it's going to give us a perfect perspective. This will be the first piece of comprehensive crypto legislation ever passed by Congress. I only highlighted that sentence in the paragraph because I felt that was the most important one. This will be the first piece of comprehensive crypto legislation ever passed by Congress. What do you think is going to follow? Now, he puts it perfectly at the end. He says, you can't expect appreciation from holding stable coins directly. After all, they are designed to hold a stable value, but you can't invest in the picks and shovels. In this case, that means layer 1 blockchains like ETH and Solana, which hosts both stablecoins and the DeFi apps that interact with stablecoins. In other words, crypto is poised to take another huge leap into the mainstream. I wholly agree, man. I really do. So I hope you got the point that I was trying to share with you guys. We need to pay attention to the stablecoin sector. If you would like to get more alpha on what's been going on with stablecoins, I'll put the most recent videos that I did on the global stablecoin arrangements right here on the screen for you. But with that, just wanted to share that with you. Got to my desk a little late today. That's neither here nor there. Most important part is, if you're looking to get some crypto, I'm using Uphold right now. Link to that will be down in the description. After I get that crypto off of Uphold, I move it over to my hardware wallet. That's the Safe Pal. They're a channel partner, so I do get compensated if you use the link in the description. I want to thank you in advance. Now it's time for the best part. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.